Hey there, guys. I hope that you are ready for today's message. Today's Mental Health Monday is intense. I have so much to share with you in a short amount of time. My goal would be to make this video 10 minutes, but it's probably going to be about 15. So stick in there with me because I'm going deep. The last two videos, we talked about resistance. In the first video, we talked about managing your emotions. And now today, I want to talk about the top three negative emotions that leaders come to me to move through. These are symptoms, but these are the symptoms that they come to talk about. And I'm just going to give them to you right up front so you know what they are. And that is burnout, loneliness, insomnia, and imposter syndrome. Now, I really want to make sure you understand that people are not coming saying, "Hey, I have imposter syndrome," as much as they're saying, "I don't know who I am. I don't know what I want. I'm confused." So technically what I'm saying is confusion, but you know it as imposter syndrome. So that's why I'm using that term because it's sort of a, new and trendy term right now. Burnout. I'm going to break each one down. Let me give you a little, bit of direction and structure. I'm going to break each one down. I'm going to tell you what they are comorbid with, what when you're feeling burnout, what else you might be feeling. I'm going to tell you some of the physical illnesses that are associated with these things. And I'm also going to tell you the emotions that are created because of these things. And then I'm going to tell you the root cause. Now, I like to also tie in a little money conversation in there because, as you know, I am the world's number one financial hypnotherapist. And because of that, because of my background in finance and my, training in mental health, I like to blend those two together. And because money is the number one cause of stress, whether you have it or not. And when I say whether you have it or not, I'm not talking about stress. I'm talking about money. Whether you have money or not, money is still the number one cause of stress. And many of these things that we're going to talk about have a money relation to them. So I'm going to tie all of that together. Remember, I told you this is going to be deep. You should probably take notes. Yeah. Or just listen to it a whole bunch of times. Listen to this video over again and share it. Subscribe to this YouTube channel, to this wherever you're listening to. Subscribe, follow, get involved, get notifications. Every single Monday I'm going to be sharing something with you. So let's share right now. Let's talk about first burnout. Many women feel burnout and men feel it too, but they're just not calling it burnout. Why? Because it's typical for men to be burned out. It's typical for men to overwork themselves, to do too much, to just grin and bear it. Burnout is new for us because as our society, we believe that we should be working hard. How many times have you heard, something, nothing is worth having unless it's worth working hard for, or something like that? How many times have you heard you work hard for the money? Right? These are the programs that are running that cause burnout. Now, I want you to understand that when you're feeling burnout, what's underneath that? What is the real mental health challenge that you are experiencing? Feelings of unworthiness, feelings of being unappreciated. I need to do more. I must earn love. I've got to work to get the love. And really, none of that is true, but that is how you feel. And it's because of your past. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. Well, not a second, but a few minutes. And I want you to understand when it comes to burnout, burnout is often comorbid, or just to make that language simpler, it is also has other symptoms that go along with it. Workaholism. So when you're feeling burnout, it's because you're overworking yourself. When you're feeling burnout, it's because you're people pleasing. Yes, burnout is often comorbid with people pleasing. A lot of the times I see this. And some of the physical illnesses that come with burnout is back pain, tooth pain, headaches. And Actually, carpal tunnel. Carpal tunnel is often comorbid with burnout and workaholism, overworking yourself. There's some other illnesses, but those are the ones that are most often connected with burnout. Now, what about the emotions? The emotions that you feel a lot of times when you are experiencing burnout are irritability. Like you just feel so irritated all the time. You feel also like there's not enough. If I stop, so will everything else, right? The resources will stop. I have to keep going, keep going, keep going. There's just this fear of missing out. Maybe there's something I'm missing, but if I just keep going, well, I have to show up for that person because then I probably it'll finally click into place, right? There's this secret that the other person has that you don't have, and you got to go serve them in order to get it. Just give and give and give and give. And burnout is the other program that runs with burnout is it's better to give than to receive. If that is one of your programs, you're probably experiencing burnout. Now, the second most common is loneliness. In fact, actually, loneliness is number one, and burnout is actually number two. Loneliness is usually comorbid with all of these. So, loneliness, burnout, insomnia, and confusion or imposter syndrome, those all go together. And loneliness, some of the comorbid comorbidity there is addiction. A lot of times you feel lonely and then you go and you find a substance that makes you feel connected. Sometimes that's smoking, sometimes that's a drug, that can even be sex. For some people who feel lonely, they often feel numb as well. And they can't always feel, and that's the emotion. We'll get to that in a second, but they can often feel numb, and then that numbness, then a lot of times they can't feel unless they're overstimulated. And that needing that overstimulation then doles them out. And then they have to chase it and chase it and chase it. And then they go back to feeling lonely and then they go chase the feeling and then lonely and then chase the feeling. And those physical illnesses that go with that is sometimes you'll find to have throat challenges like laryngitis, sometimes chest challenges like bronchitis, or anything that has to do with the chest. It connects with loneliness, and then also heart issues as well. Foot pain often connects to loneliness in many different ways, especially flat feet, like just and that flat feet, and kind of moving, and I'll tell you in a minute why that is. Like that we talk about in our digital membership, in our Tame Your Brain program. We go deeper into that. I don't want to go too deep here on this video because we only have a few minutes and it's only so much information I can give you, but I want to give you enough that you understand that there's something. One, you're not alone. Two, there's something you can do about it. And three, that all of this kind of works together. And then I want you to see the root cause. And oh, let me go back to burnout because I didn't tell you the root cause of burnout. The root cause of burnout is often abandonment. Or maybe you come from a family of either one or two kind of families, either overachievers or like lazy losers, right? And so you're like, I'm not going to be like my family. But if you come from a family of overachievers and that's just expected, that is the program that's running. Or if you were abandoned, you feel unworthy and you feel like you have to do something to get love. So let me go back to loneliness. Loneliness, I talked about the physical illnesses. I want to talk about the emotions that go with loneliness. A lot of times is that numbness. You just feel numb. Also, the emotion that goes with loneliness is loneliness, right? That makes sense. You just feel by yourself, like nobody understands you, sometimes unappreciated. And I'm just making a little note here. And then sometimes you even feel like you have to buy love because it won't come to you easily. You'll have to go out and do something to get it. And it won't be just like work hard to get the love, but it'll be like buy or perform. You may feel like you need to perform for love. And the feelings that go with loneliness a lot of times also are I'm not cared for. Those are the programs, I should say. The programs that go with loneliness are I'm not cared for. I'm not lovable. Um, Something must be wrong with me. I'm too much. So if you are the type of person where people are always like, whew, like they can't handle you, that was me. That was me. I was, people, I have a very polarizing personality. You either kind of love me or like hate me. And I hate to use that word, but until you do love me, you're all the way over here. There's not a lot of lukewarmness with me. Most people are either like all in, I love this woman, or they're like, oh, keep her away from me. And you might be experiencing that too. And when you experience that, you feel like you're too much and you have to like temper yourself. Have you ever felt like that? Like you had to bring yourself down in order to get love. And the root cause of that is sometimes feeling ignored. So when you feel ignored, you swing to the other side of the pendulum. Remember, we talked about this in managing your emotions. You become the imposter. The imposter, you might be laid back, but you felt like in order to get love, you had to perform, you had to show. And so maybe you swing to the other side of the pendulum and you do too much. But sometimes you might have been actually physically abused. Now, sometimes when you're physically abused, it makes you go the opposite way, not be too much. You want to disappear. You want to not be seen. So if you disappear, you're lonely, right? And so mental health is really a reflection of what we learned between 0 and 7 years old, really 0 and 5. But I'm going to take it to 0 to 7, just so you understand that those first 7 years are really important. And those are the years when you're making interpretations. And even though you're good and a good observer, you're an excellent observer, you're not really a good interpreter, but it's too late. You've already made those interpretations. And from 7 to 14, you go out and prove them. And you scan the world over for evidence that you're not enough, that you are too much, that nobody cares about you, and you keep finding and keep finding and keep finding it, and you're like, yep, I knew it, I'm too much. And then from 14 to 21, you believe it becomes solid, it becomes your belief system, and that is how you move through life. So let me go to the third one, which is insomnia. A lot of times people are losing sleep and they come to therapy or hypnotherapy because they just want to sleep, they want to rest. And the program that's running is that I'm not safe. The brain believes that it's just not safe. And if the brain believes it's not safe, it is not going to rest. It is going to stay on and protect you, because if we go to sleep, you could die. And that's what the brain believes. Now, the brain doesn't realize that if you don't go to sleep, you could also die, and you're slowly killing yourself by not sleeping. But it just knows that this is the immediate threat. We have to take care of the immediate threat. And so, and when some of the things, the programs that are running when it comes to love, is that love just doesn't exist. It's not real. And it's just not there. So you don't expect to get it. This happens a lot when you are experiencing insomnia. A lot of times you're also feeling that like I'm not safe and love is not real feeling. And it can be comorbid with drug addiction again, overeating a lot of times. Some of the physical illnesses that you'll feel is digestion problems. You'll have sometimes a big belly, right? Back pain a lot of times with insomnia. Fatigue, of course, right? And knee pain when it comes to insomnia. Those go together a lot. The emotions that you create are irritability, confusion, poor decision making, comparing yourself to others, because you're just up worrying all the time. This isolation comes with insomnia too, very often. And then settling for less because you just want to feel safe. So you settle for less. Now, the root causes of this insomnia very often are arguments when you were a kid, like a lot of arguing in the home, or no stability in the home. And I'm going to say you moved around a lot, but it's just not the moving. It's the moving like in emergency kind of thing. Like moving if you were stable, if like your parents were getting the next job and then the next job, and then, they gave you all the comforts and you felt like you had the ability to meet people, that's fine. But it's when you just didn't know what was happening next, when they're that unknown, like it was just like so much mystery in your life that it was scary, that created the insomnia. Now, almost there. I'm starting to wrap it up. I'm going to give you this last one, and then I'm going to give you the next steps, kind of the action I want you to take. So this fourth one, the confusion or the imposter syndrome, as you see it, or has it's been said lately, and that is feeling the program that's running there is I can't be myself. I'm not able to be myself. I'm not allowed to be myself. And the other program is who am I? I don't even know who I am. I'm not allowed to know who I am because I have to be who I have to be in order to exist in this family. And I must change to be loved. I must change to be loved. And so you create a character. And this can be comorbid with drug abuse, drug and alcohol abuse quite often. It can be comorbid with I call it gym abuse, like going to the gym like 2 or 3 times a day, like trying to create this persona, and then overspending. It could be associated with overspending often, very often, overindulging overall, and lying. A lot of lying when you feel like you have to change to be loved. And some of the physical illnesses you'll see with the confusion and imposter syndrome, headaches, you'll find genital problems. So erectile dysfunction, sometimes with ladies, irregular period, um, stomach challenges, a lot of stomach, and eye challenges. So, and I'm not just talking about, your eyes aging I'm talking about where you'll maybe your eyes are often dry or often runny. So sight is part of it, but I'm talking about the actual health of the eye. And then emotions that I see comorbid are low self-esteem, fear of missing out, illusions of grandeur. Yes, big. This emotion is big when it comes to insomnia. And then the root causes here, criticism. If you're criticized a lot when you're young, then you create the character. Family secrets. And there are a lot of family secrets. You create the character. You may even feel shame when you're a kid, and then your family may have some shame, and you may have some shame about the family you come from, and then you create this character. So let's talk about healing this. Hypnotherapy is the best for all of these. You can do talk therapy, it does work, but it's time and repetition, and it sometimes takes 2 or 3 years, a year, 2, 3, sometimes just depending upon how deep, how ready you are. Going back to that resistance video, how ready you are to let go of your story. And if you're not ready to let go of your story, then here we are, right? You're stuck. So then you have hypnotherapy is really helpful to get the story to go away quickly. So that's what you can do in order to get it to move quickly. Now, on your own, because hypnotherapy, you're going to need a hypnotherapist, and that could be us. And if that is, then I want you to go ahead, and if you have questions, you're just like, I'm not sure if I'm ready. This does sound like it's for me. Then just email us at vip@presidentiallifestyle.com, or you can call us at 888-452 TAME, or that is 8263. So 888-452-8263 or 888-452 TAME, to just remember that easily. Now, let me give you some things you can do on your own. First, stop telling the story. It's old, it's outdated, it's not even true anymore. Let it go. Number two, act as if. Act as if you want this new story. What is the new story that you want? Act like that person. What does a healthy person look like? What does a person who sleeps look like? What does a person who's being themselves look like? What does a person who is working just the right amount look like? What is a person who has great connections look like? Act like, feel like, do. What do you do? Be that. Act as if. And then stop complaining. Number three, stop complaining. And anytime you find yourself complaining, whenever you complain, I want you to say, that is no longer happening. Because really, when you're complaining, you're really just tapping into that old story, and that old story is creating that feeling of, I better complain right now. So it's no longer happening. It's no longer happening. So, what is happening? What's going well? What's happening that's going well? That's what I want you to shift your focus to. So that is our mental health Monday video. I want to give you our website, presidentiallifestyle.com. And this video was supposed to be 15 minutes, but it's actually 20 minutes. So thank you for hanging in there with me. I will see you next week for Mental Health Monday. Thank you for being here with me. And if you have questions, go ahead and email us at vip@presidentiallifestyle.com. But if you say, you know what, Kanae, I want to talk with you right now or one of your team members, then I want you to go to presidentiallifestyle.com, fill out the form. It'll say get started. Just click that button, fill out the form, and let's talk because you do not have to feel lonely. You do not have to stay up at night and feel insomnia. You do not have to feel like a fake or confused. You do not have to feel burnout. There is hope. There is something that you can do to tame your brain and get to the healthy version of yourself, your true, authentic self. And we are here to help you. So I'll see you next week and Mental Health Mondays. In the meantime, remember your field work. You're going to stop telling your story. You're going to act as if you have this new story and you're going to stop complaining. And when you do complain, you're going to say, what's going well? What's really happening? That's no longer happening. What's happening? And what's happening that's going well in my life? Got it? All right. I look forward to hearing from you. Your comments, give them to me. Let me know what questions you have, what you feel, what you think, and let's keep talking so we can heal your mental health challenges. I am Kanae Corder, CEO of Presidential Lifestyle, and I will see